El yanqui teme que tú te levantes, América Latina obrera, no sé por qué no lo haces. El yanqui teme a la revolución, el yanqui teme grito, yanqui gojón, yanqui gojón. Y viene remontando el Amazonas, el grito rebelde del carioca, y viene a unirse con su hermano, el obrero venezolano. América Latina obrera, América Latina obrera, América Latina. Levanten tus manos la bandera de la revolución, América Latina obrera, y griten con fuerza, Yankee go home, Yankee go home, Yankee go home. Gringo, go home. Los obreros de América Latina te dicen, gringo, go home. Yankee, go home. Levanten tus manos la bandera de la revolución, América Latina obrera, y grita con fuerza, Yankee go home, Yankee go home, Yankee.
Yes, you could probably hear me. Very good. I usually open with another song, but that was a Venezuelan song that I'm posting. I'm starting with tonight because, well, again, the dumbest person we have ever had is sitting in the White House has done again a stupid thing. Yeah, it's just crazy. Anyway, hey, I just, I haven't done a stream, I think, since we got to a point where I was like, oh, yeah, we're in beta. And I've been starting to catch up on all of the, name inclusions. And that's led to a couple of things. I realized that I never put together an atlas of the bay where Peace Island takes place in. You can see Peace Island is only a very small part of where of the world. The cats are not going to explore the rest of this area, but there are certain things in the game that will require some NPCs to travel to those locations. I think it was about a month ago that about a month ago that I started looking at all of the outstanding name placements in the game, and I realized there were like 400 outstanding name placements that I had not even addressed, and that's sort of embarrassing. But where I'm making up for it, lost time. There are some people. Let me just show you. Yeah, we're doing the Prims Bay Atlas. We got some people who wanted to be realtors. We're going to be placing those because the realtor that is on Peace Island itself is sort of portrayed as evil. So these are sort of like offshore places. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's another project. That's yeah. I started work on another game, another book for the project. Let's see. Skip. Yeah, I started writing another book. Laura's been writing another. I think we're up to, gosh, I'd say in the neighborhood of about 23. If you count cookbooks, we're probably in the neighborhood of about 25 books within the game. Laura's writing, writing one right now. I'm writing another. Yeah. If you wanted to read a book, it's what it is. I think I've explained why we wound up making many, many times. But right now, I wanted to go. I'm just trying to go through our um, final list of stuff that needs to get done. It was a list of 34 items total, actually 35, and I believe we can get to about 50% done for the next few days. Because a lot of the stuff is very, very simple. The whale chart is up there. Double check that. In this case, I wanted to make sure that players can traverse the interior of the ventilation shaft. And one of the problems was the camera was passing through, et cetera, et cetera. And I just want to make sure that, what the case is with it. Now, one thing is I realized the decal right in the gate, this scene in particular, are outdated. So I'm going to pull those out. And I'm going to go to the silent scene. I think I'm going to have to replace this mouse because it seems to just not give, like, I think it may be a Logitech. I don't like Logitech products, to be honest. Let's see, save. But anyway, maybe I should put on some music in the background. I kind of like the idea that, if you want to listen to some music while I'm streaming this very, very boring stuff, and somebody's here. Hello. Yeah, Richard. Hello, Richard. Okay, cool. I'm glad that I'm very sorry I didn't address your chat because it's over here on my monitor with OBS, and also I'm not used to anybody just showing up until literally an hour after I start streaming. So it's very unusual to have somebody show up. Let's just see here. Yeah, I wanted to grab the game manager. The decal route. Because that allows us to start. For some reason, no one else on this project has this problem. But when I start the game, it always starts inside the editor. It always starts copy. It always starts inside of it ultra high, and I actually created a script and attached it to this blank object decal route, and it forces it into low quality because in this case I'm just looking for functionality, not beauty shots. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 4 weeks, and I think I've explained. And I'm very sorry. I'm going to look at Richard Donald. I'm very. You've been following this, I don't know for how long, but let me tell you that unfortunately the game is not going to be what we wanted. Because of just issues that I've gone over so many times, it's ridiculous. But we made the best game we could. And see here, paste this down. There we are. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to pull the test spawn location. Sure, test mode. Test spawn location is inside. Because we've received reports that traversal inside of the air conditioner systems is kind of wonky. Possible. I don't know. I've had so many things on the list that were higher. Even though literally the only way you can get inside of this is via this system, and when you get into that system, this sort of a spoiler source, you can actually gain access to other locations via pipes. Anyway. Okay, so we're gonna try, because I'm wondering if I added a collider that's causing issues or something. So on this, let's just see. So how you doing there, Richard? It sounds like you've been following the project for a while. The one thing I constantly tell myself, is that understand everybody that scammed us and wasted all those months, they went on to scam other projects, and those projects never saw the light of day. So I consider ourselves lucky that we survived that whole thing with the game at all. And again, I really consider ourselves fortunate that we found Lance down in Mexico. He was just, I mean, have I ever told you about the story of a man named Lance? Um, we just did. He was a guy in Tijuana. He had no sources of income. He had a wife and two kids. And man, he just wanted to work and he wanted to do good work. And man, that guy, I consider him the third person after is equal to myself and Laura and Peace Island's creation and survival because my goodness, if it hadn't been for him, uh, yeah, we'd be screwed. Yeah. Not like see, this should not take this long. It always hangs. Now, here's what's going to happen: is I'm going to move our test spawner down into the main interior, just like a room. And I bet it does spawn us after a couple seconds. All of a sudden, it's just saying no. And if this is a case, that means people have not been able to really explore um, half of the library basement and, this one interior that's the basement of the island fuel gas station. But anyway, do you have any questions, comments, or criticism about the game? Anything that you there in the chat? Because I heck, we have so few people showing up and such. I kind of like chatting with people. That's the one thing that that not Discord. What is it? Twitch. I'm old. Has over YouTube is that people talk back a lot. They're used to it being more interactive. Whereas on here on YouTube, for the most part, I'm not a YouTuber, that's like, hey, chat fam, blah, blah, blah. The people are just, for some reason, tuning in. The one thing I realized I got a chat over there. It kind of makes me sad, but at a certain point, Annapurna Interactive, the people who run that company, they made Stray, and they always had one of their people watching my stream. Sometimes they were the only one. But after they basically fired all of the headhunters in their, in their games division, that person no longer showed up, and I was like, "Dang, I missed the guy or a gal." I mean, or maybe they're non-binary. I sort of missed them for a while because I did about a dozen streams and no one showed up, and I was like, "Dang, I miss our Annapurna, interactive mole," um, because that's a long story. Now, it's still not spawning. This is very odd. This is the public demo crap, where it always runs fine until you do streaming and then everything screws up. You know what? Grandpa is going to head out of the room for about as long as it takes you to visit the little boy's room for about 30 seconds. I'm going to come back, and if it still hasn't spawned, we're going to check out and see what's up. I think that again, this is just a case because it was spawning right before I started. So I will be right back. I'm going to turn down my mic so that you don't hear. Well, Jose, there's a guy on YouTube. He did a stream on, and he just left his mic on full gain while he was in the toilet, and we heard everything. So I'll be right back. No, it is not running. Now, this is a curious little thing. But anyway, I have to look at the chat. So, haha, yep, yep, yep. Hey, it happens. It's just odd. But what I can do here is I'm just going to go to Lance scene. I know I tested this before I built, over the last 48 hours, I built and uploaded a new version for um, all three platforms, Mac, Linux, and PC. And I'm hoping, well, no, I know it ran. I know it ran. This couldn't have happened. I'll know via email soon. We're to yeah, Lance again. He was just a guy, just this guy. I got him at workingforindies.com. I think workingwithindies.com. He was just a guy that had an ad on there, like looking for work. No, I put an ad up. He responded, and out of the three people that responded, he was the only one that worked within the constraints I said. I mean, at the very opening, I said, I need somebody to work on our controller. I know our controller is screwed up. I know everything in the system is screwed up because I didn't want to tell the person straight out at that point, oh, yeah, we had these idiots in here for like 18 months that were wrecking the place. But I need whoever it is that comes in to handle the controller to work within the constraints that we set because this is how things are set up. And the two other people that responded came in and they did the controller from scratch. And here's the problem. One of the major problems I had over the previous 18 months when we had these scammers screwing with the project, they were not following directions. And really, I think as the lead dev and the person who's paying everybody's paycheck, they should follow directions. And Lance, bless his soul, he went in there and worked with the absolute mess that we had. And by the way, eventually replaced it with a controller of his own design. We do have, see, this guy, it does work. We do have it. Maybe I'll bring over the game manager for a moment. So it's just that from the very beginning, I needed somebody who's willing, just follows directions and such. And we had a contentious start. Lance, here's the thing. Lance, if you're watching this, straight up, you're an arrogant guy. Here's the thing. You deserved, your arrogance is warranted because you're a top-notch game developer, coder, etc., etc. You can code without, you could probably code a game in your sleep. But dude, you're a tad arrogant, just as I am. And we had I worked with him for a bit, and man, I fired him at one point early in. But thank goodness I stuck with him because. So what we're gonna do is kind of this game interior. Game manager is basically everything. It has everything: the camera, the cats, it's the collection engine, everything. It's the universal omni tool of the game. Oh, and by the way, one last statement about what's going on in Venezuela. Laura summed it up this morning. We were talking about this, and she summed it up. Is basically we're going to go in. We're going. I mean, Donald Trump. He's just bringing back all of the failed policies from the past, and he's just going to go in there. Just like we did in the old days in the 1980s, because that was his time when he was at Club 54 and was doing the coke and was getting attention from the girls because he was young and rich, or at least he was able to. But anyway, he's basically back in the 1980s. Laura pointed out, we're going to install a government. 20 years later, it's going to be overthrown by a leftist insurgency. And it's, it's just that's what's going to happen. So, see here. First off, let's have the cat spawn in the main interior. And by the way, I acknowledge Maduro sucks. they didn't need to grab 2/3 of Guyana. I mean, really, the problem with Chavez is he did not diversify his economy. Yeah, he was very good at, like, the Bolivarian Revolution, bringing power to the people, et cetera. But he was very bad. He didn't diversify the economy beyond oil. Uh, anyway, and Maduro, um, to quote Lloyd Benson. Yeah, well, Jeez, Grandpa Eric's going to do a very old political simile. Lloyd Benson, hey, I knew Hugo Chavez. I worked with Hugo Chavez. Senator, you know Hugo Chavez. Maduro, you know Chavez. Okay, there's something fundamentally wrong with this scene. It's not playing. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and germs. When what you're trying to do it doesn't work, you just work with the constraints. And what I'm going to do, quick and easy lemon squeezy, is create a duplicate of the main scene where we know the spawner works, and just import this one interior. We're all good. Oh, oh, bye, Richard. Sorry. Uh, okay, let me see if do we have anybody else? Yeah, let me see. Oh, hi, Rich. Oh, Richard. Hey, Richard. Long time no see, dude. Hmm. Remember about a year ago when I was talking about having Death in Rome do a piece of music for the game? Um, I'm sorry. Eating olives, and I really shouldn't during a stream, but man, they have these um, Serenola olives with the pits inside. Oh my god, I could eat. I have a problem, and it's gross, with sleeting. In other words, eating in the middle of the night. I have a bucket of these by my bedside in case that happens, because I'd rather have these than eat something with sugar or starch. It's going to rot my teeth. You're doing this, human. How are you doing, Richard? How's Can't I doing? By the way, Richard, if anybody who watches this now or in the future does not know, he is the guy who created the generative soundtrack for Peace Island. Um, it was a piece of wizardry that took him 3 hours on YouTube to explain. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. I'm going to put it in the root directory. I'm going to call this poop because it's quick and easy, because we just want to test our interior utility chunk. Import the chunk. Oh, and now we go to old spawn. And it may have done that because those interiors were not placed in the right locations, and the cat may have been actually falling eternally through space. Here's hoping. Oh, and by the way, we got it in test mode. Yes, we are. Hmm. Sorry. Lash olive. They're so good, and they're like $3.99 for this big olive, a huge jar. So, and yeah, Richard. Let's see what else. Um, he's the creator of a music an AI vocals generator called Can't AI. Uh, and hopefully, it has been somewhat successful for you. I think the last time we talked was in the middle of the summer when I came over to your place to pick up the Mac. If you're still there, Richard, I don't know whether you are or not. All right. Well, you know, While I'm on this, I'm just going to go off on my usual. I was going to talk about something, but I completely forgot. Um, today I watched Begonia for the second time. Uh, I don't understand the whole like appeal of Jesse Plemons to a certain extent, but I still his character in this movie was pretty good. And the problem that I had, I mean, this time around is because I don't know if you've ever watched. I've been to a site called tvtropes.com. But really, if you ever thought you had oh great, I got this like original idea for a story, go to TV Tropes and you'll discover it's been done and done and done. Now, one of these tropes is the trope of the crazy conspiracy theorist being right all along. They took that one trope and stretched it out into an entire movie. Um, it was good. I mean, I don't like. Well, I mean, I don't think that that one scene with the torture is supposed to be a pleasant. I mean, torture is not supposed to be pleasant at all. I fast forwarded through that at this time, but I kind of liked it, and also, I didn't know that the last scene when she's up. I mean, spoiler: she's an alien. Everybody knows it now. Anyway, um, I didn't know that there were subtitles. So the first time I watched it, I was just like, oh, that's really adventurous that they made the scene at the end totally in the alien language with no subtitles and we're supposed to intuit. But I found out that actually no, when you see it in the theater and there are subtitles and I just didn't have them. So okay, we've determined that the kitty cat spawns fine in the middle of there. Now, what we got? Oh, this might be the. Is this the reason? Let's see. All right, where are you? Spawn. I need to write to Death and let them know because I got in touch with them and let's see. All right, let's spawn the kitty middle of the event here and see what happens. Yeah, Death in Rome recently. I mean, if you don't know the genre, they do. I would say they're the class of like 1980s Leibach because they do neo folk covers of songs you would not expect. Leibach back in the day, during the days of the Cold War, when it was a good band, they did covers of the Beatles and such, but Stalinist marches. These days, I don't even recognize. I recognize the old guy that's now an old guy. I'm going to be there soon. But yeah, basically the band isn't what I remember it. And I haven't listened to anything because when they after the fall of the Berlin Wall, their music sucked. Ever since they went techno, and also around that same time, no, about a couple years after that, um, VNV. I discovered VNV Nation's Empires, and that was their breakout album. And I was like, VNV Nation is doing techno the way that Leibach wants to do it. But I don't know. They got stuck with this shtick of or we have the guy with the growly voice and say, oh hey looky here comes Cookie. Okay, I don't like that. Um, let's see. Kitty head bumps up against. I put that's the one change I added today is that the kitty head now has a collider to it because I did not like how the kitty it was always its head was going through the lens. And last time I tripped up because I was like, "Oh, the cat can't climb ivy. That sucks." But no, this time I discovered, oh no, you just again the physics matrix, the physics matrix. I forget exactly how this puzzle works here. I have to, hey, explore together, or I'll just now here that look at that. All right, that is a bug. That is definitely a bug. But while we're here, now we're going to see if I can just navigate. tired of my head. There, yeah, okay, cool. I think that could be solved by widening the colliders on the walls of the um, vent pieces that the cat's walking through. That's and the top. I think that'll also prevent the camera from going there. Hopefully, uh, but anyway, let's just start this again so we can just go. All right, so somebody reported there were problems with this, but I have not played this level, like I said, in a long time. Richard, I'm all alone here, guys. But yeah, they came out with a few new tracks this year. Death in Rome. I liked "Follow the Beat." Very, very good. Um, I can't say that I'm the biggest fan of their cover of "We Built This City." Maybe I'll play it during a restroom break if I'm still streaming for that long, and I very well might be, because I haven't done one of these in a long while. And heck, I mean, I do want to like scream to the world, "We're still here. We're still here." Now, one thing, I mean, Richard brings something to mind: game music. Now, I the other day played Disco Elysium for the first time, and now I realize 5 years. I started a game back in 2020, but I didn't realize that you could take pills during debuffs. So I kept on like failing whenever I got into the boss's, office. But man, that main theme with the trumpets is so awful. I cannot tolerate it. It is just it brings tears to my eyes. It is tedious music that makes me feel just there we go. Yes. All right, fantastic. All right. So really what we need to do now, and I think this is going to demand like seriously straight up like collider by collider adjustment. And I've done. It seems that the camera goes mostly outside of the vent when you take it up, not went to the left or right. So I may want to check that collider on the top of the vents here. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't want to keep on going on about this Venezuela. It's just so stupid. It's just the goddamn stupidest thing I've ever seen. Because I just know that all the people in charge don't just know nothing about the situation they blundered into. Uh, am I using? I'm using the mesh collider for these, and I understand why this is problematic. But this could be solved. Let's try something relatively simple on the top side. Oh no no no. Um, I didn't know I was still using the literal just colliders of the vents because unless you're doing convex collider, your issues. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't stop eating. Delicious pretzels. So, anyway, let me see here. I'm going to say, can I is any participants? No one. But then again, YouTube sometimes says nobody there. Hey, if anybody is here, can you say hi in the chat? Even if it's you, Richard, and you're not even restroom. When you get back from the restroom, say hi in the chat if you're still there. And by the way, well, no, I'm not going to go into it again. We've done plenty of streams about it, et cetera, et cetera. I personally am not part of the Butlerian jihad against AI. And trust me, yes, we have actually gone uh, for the last few months. One of the things that we have been doing in preparation for that public demo is getting through and getting rid of as much AI content as we can discover. And yeah, we did use AI for a couple of things within the game. We've been very open about that. But I think the problem lies in that a lot of people who use the AI think it can do everything. Uh, no, it cannot. It just cannot. Um, if there are just, it is just impossible of creating things out of a certain, boundary. See, I'm going to get rid of this house's, just to get it out of a farmhouse. Just turn that. I want to get a collider. Turn off the renderer, but keep the collider, make it static. Now what I'm going to do, basically I'm just going to place a universal, you know, collider that makes sure that if the camera, because whenever I've seen these, any studio or game studio trying to, or any entertainer trying to use AI, it is always used so clumsily. Like they just expected to do everything. I mean, a classic example has been there was a criminal psychology. There's this criminal psychology channel. The guy had just basically captured lightning in a bottle. And at a certain point, he just walked away, sold it to a company that replaced this guy with AI. And it's just been so bad. But if the people who bought this channel had just spent, about 10 minutes going through and checking things, it would be unnoticeable. But they don't. It's all about them dollar bills. Like the other day, I discovered I did a stream here on YouTube. Actually, that was the most embarrassing thing. We're going to spawn this again and see if we have. Now that I placed that collider above there, I'm going to see if that. And I'm going to continue talking. Hey, how about that pluribus, man? I could say, did not watch Better Call Saul. Was so damned boring. Almost as boring. Oh my gosh, I forget. Yeah, I was talking about how boring the music was in um, Disco Elysium. That song with the trumpet, the brr, brr, I mean, that reminds me, and I know I'm going to sound old because I am. That's the kind of music that you would hear in like the 1970s equivalent of a dollar store. And back then they didn't have dollar stores. Um, but anyway, it would be just really bad music piped in. And I remember being that young and having to listen to that kind of brr, brr. And I just remember being how bored I was. And it was just a matter of my attention. I was a hyperactive kid and my attention was floating and I didn't be there because of the story. I felt physically tired. And now I understand leftist socialists like me are supposed to really get, a little bit of ironic joy out of Disco Elysium because of the socialist, aspects of the story. Oh, no, look at that. You know what I think I need to do? We need to change the uh, buffer camera. Because if this is happening here, it's happening. I think it's just too tight there. But anyway, After playing that game for the second time, and again, the reason I did play for 5 years was because of that awful, awful music. This time I turned it all the way down. I was like, man, I watched this. They're doing a video series about the people who created this game, and one of them is like, oh yeah, I mean, it was done out of a lot of nostalgia for the Soviet Union. And I have to say, if that was the kind of music they had playing, and yeah, the Soviet Union needed to die. If that's what was considered cool music, but yeah, I'm very. Ayn Rand was correct. Milton Friedman was right, and yes, it needed to die just on the basis of that one song. I'm just saying, it was awful. Yeah, just awful. Just a worst soundtrack. IMHO ever. That was the only game in the entire. I played so many games that I literally had to turn off the music entirely because I could not stand it. What's wrong with me? Here's the thing. I'm one of those leftist Marxist guys. I can't listen to Zaslav Zizek because, honest to God, the guy sounds his voice. He needs to get his cleft palate fixed. Maybe he's like, I'm not going to get it fixed because I'm not even going to try to. I'm because that would be elitist. I'm a Marxist, etc. No, honest to God, you would get so many more followers. I cannot listen to Zaslav Zizek. Oh God, it literally makes me physically ill. Socialism has an audio problem. Anyway, no, let's see. I forget exactly where the cameras. The clipping planes. Let's see what changes. Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, Eric, you're so ableist. You really shouldn't be judging Zaslav Jack on his ways. How about you should judge him on his ideas? Well, if the ideas are being presented in a voice that sounds like a flushy toilet mixed with a sponge filled with mold, I really can't be bothered. Leon Trotsky was, I've heard Lenin speak. I have a CD actually. One of the last, only see a few CDs that the Soviet Union ever produced of Lenin speeches. Yeah, he was pedantic and he would just go on, but at least you could hear his voice. As long as he's just, I mean, anybody who graduated his classes, I would have strangled him halfway, 10 minutes into the first lecture. See, nobody tunes in for a decrepit game developer complaining about Marxist philosophers. Well, I'm going to keep on going until that first hour goes, and then we'll maybe get our puppet pals in. Puppet pal. By the way, I call them puppet pals because it reminds me of in Dexter's Lab. There was like this cartoon series about like these superheroes and living together, sort of like in a sitcom situation, and one of them really television show, the Puppet Pals. Papa Pal Rick. Papa Pal Rick. Ah, that is much. It's still there, but not as bad. I think that was the. Camera. 02. I started to get it 03. See, because it was 01 before we did the 03. Fun. Let's go crazy. 04, baby. And yeah, I will stand by that. And also, was concerned about Peace Island's game being really boring at one point back in the distant past. And when I was playing um, Disco Elysium the other day, I had to look back at that previous past version of myself and go, you have nothing to worry about. Disco Elysium is considered to be one of the best written games of I mean, honest to God, 90% of the conversations there was going click, 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 click. Don't care, don't care. Is anything interesting happening? Don't care. By the to the crew there, who created Disco Elysium, and I know every one of you is watching right now. You're tuned in live. You have some sort of thing that makes you that you can't be seen via this. You have some sort of like jammer. Trust me, I respect you. Again, you guys just started out with nothing, and you created again one of the most critically acclaimed games I've ever seen, and that's cool. And also, here's the there's this. I always fall back on it. If we all liked the same things, the world would be an incredibly boring place. And let me tell you, we're gonna go crazy with '04. I think 04 in real world terms is about this much, literally about an inch. The camera was simply just popping, out. Can't believe it's so simple. So I'm able to get one more thing off the list today, baby. I'm getting two things off the list today, which will get us 6% closer. I think this means we'll be at 31% almost. If I get one more thing done tonight, we will be at 1/3 the way done toward public beta. Again, oh God, it's the worst. I get sinus headaches just the and I and somebody's and somebody point and I no I will totally admit I started the game back in 2019. I picked it up again in 2025, and maybe my sense of immediacy and my connection with it was sort of like mixed by those like that distance. But I didn't want to start again because if you have never played Disco Elysium, one of the first things you have to go through is something. I mean, I know what they did. Uh, uh, sorry, I'm going to pause this. What they did is that up on a scaffold during one of the first quests of the game, missions of the game, quests, missions, whatever, is you have to have this long, drawn out conversation with this racist guy. The first time I went through it, it was, I mean, I tried to read it, and number one, I'm listening to a racist, and I don't care. And number one, racist. Number two, I don't care. I don't need this freaking amount of death about ethnicities and such because I am not a racist. Now, I understand a lot of people who've heard these complaints. They say, "Well, you can just beat the guy up. You can if you make the right choices." No, wrong. Bad gamer, bad gamer. You don't know understand what you don't understand what they're doing. Up until the point that you meet that racist bloviator, you've had the chance to make very, very, very few choices. What they have done is created that guy up there so that the player has to deal with the choices that they made in creating their character. Yes, if you made the right choices and created a dumb, pugilistic character, you could punch him. On the other hand, if you're like me and you created an intellectual character that didn't care about physical pugilism, the game developers are making you live through that decision. Now, that is something only an Eastern European game developer would do. And I have to say, kudos. But the first time I went through it, the best way I could describe that experience was it was enjoyable as dumpster birth. Dumpster birth, if you didn't hear that. So uh, I don't want to go through Dumpster Birth Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. So I just went along with, the. Oh, look, that's still going through. On the sides, we seem to be fine. But also, fantastic achievement, game development. I mean, I will say, okay, we're going to really pump that up and make it 0.0. Actually, let's get this worked out in terms of. Sorry, no, I'm not going to do that. It's just, again, the worst soundtrack in gaming history. Oh, and yeah, I was going to. Point one. And I mean, I already know the denouement. Oh yeah, and you find out it was a disillusioned communist who did the murder because only less than 1% of 1% of communism has been ever. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and just like explain Marxism to. Anyway. No. The Soviet Union was never. Um, if you do not know themselves, a transitory state, as China does dictatorship of the proletariat, etc., on the way to communism. Communism is supposed to be. So, not going to get into Marxism. Oh, and if you've never heard, we're just pump this up to twice that, 0.8. Yeah, actually 0.1. Let's just go 0.1 because I just did the measurement there, and that's decent enough buffer. That's not that much. 2 inches. Yeah, what is the name of that horrible song? What is the name of that horrible, boring? Oh, painfully boring song with the trumpet in Disco Elysium that they force you to listen to on loop for literally hours. The let's see, smallest church in Saint Sain. Let's just see if that's what it is. Here's the we're going to test it, and if you get that's it, I may pass out from utter boredom from hearing the opening. Let's just see. No, that's actually kind of nice. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, horrible. What's that painfully awful theme for Disco Elysium? Oh, jeez. Let's just go Disco Elysium theme because I think that's what everybody thinks when they. Okay, main menu. All right, let's just see here. Okay, we're still getting a little bit up top. Yeah, let's just see if that's the. I mean, it makes me whenever I hear this song, it reminds me of like eating a nut that I'm allergic to, feeling my gums swell up. That's what I would compare this song to. No, that's not it. Come on, it's a song they always play. Oh God, here I'm gonna have to go. I'm not gonna be able to get it out of my head. Let's see. Yeah, just go crazy and see if that fixes it. Let's just see here, because I just can't get this out of my head. I must. Let's see. Disco Elysium soundtrack. Oh yeah, let's just go here. Yep, that's not it. Let's just see. Oh no, no, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Hold on. Let's go back. Here it is. Oh my head. Oh God. Yeah. Well, you don't understand. It reflects the boring, this worn out nature of the place. It takes. Uh, oh God, I'm very sorry, but I seriously have a sinus headache. Like I said, after listening to that little bit, and that wasn't even the song that I was referring to. The other one, I mean, there was another one that was even worse. Dare I even bring us there? It's award-winning soundtrack, man. Don't you understand how great it was? Oh man. Um, let's just go. Come on, the trumpet song. Is that what it is? Go. Yeah, that again. That's the feel. You've heard it now 3 times, and every time you hear it, um, it's just off. It just gets worse, and it pounds into your head even more. Man, okay, we're still having that overlap. It looks like even in the sides now. Let me try something. Wah, wah, wah. And by the way, I have to go back. If you're like, oh, he's crashing another game, but treasure, whatever. Dude, again, if we all like the same thing, the world would be a very boring place. I mean, honest goodness, there were some people who like oh yeah, the Divergent series of films. My God, that and let me try something. Okay. Let's see here. And like I said, I mean, I'm not trashing. It looked very beautiful. Can I say? I've never seen such a unique, graphic style in an isometric adventure before. very good. I like the depth of writing that they had because, I mean, some people are like, "Oh, do you think people are going to be interested in a game with so much reading in it?" Uh, in that documentary about the game, they were saying, we judge the number of words we're writing for the game in terms of Bibles. I think the Bible contains about 735,000. Um, they have 1.2 million in that game. Currently in Peace Island, they're about 65,000. I think in the end, they're going to be. I think we may write an entire Bible's worth of words for the game. Hmm. Let's see. I've been going for. Oh yeah, an hour one. Our puppet pals should be here. Puppet pals, are you here? I'm eating more pretzels. In fact, maybe I should go and get something that makes even more sound. Goodness, it dust. Huh. One other try. And by the way, if anybody wonders, is this guy going to just sit here all evening and just like, just move that collider and move his camera and see how it works? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. That's what they call game development. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm not even going to put that other song. That everything. Is it the Walls of Ravishall's Instrument of Surrender? Again, I'm going to go to it. No, man, I want me a potato chip. I'll be right back. I'm going to walk into the potato. I'll be right. Hmm. Got sidetracked. Got sidetracked. We'll see. Wah, 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 wah. Actually, I remember. This will. Hmm. Am I just going to have to say there's no solution to this issue? I mean, I've added so many things that should have taken care of this. One last thing I'm going to. After which, I'm just going to declare this thing as good as we can get it for the public. It's not going to be perfect. I would like it to be perfect, but I can't let perfect get in the way of acceptable. All right, so let's just get our 0001 as low as we can. All right. Oh, we still have somebody here. Hello, Chief Ink. Chief Link? Oh, Chief Link. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, 90% of it. I mean, when they say, oh, yeah, you're working in game development, that must be it. Trust me, game development beats heavy lifting or, retail But 99% of it is just doing incredibly boring, redundant check, 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 change something, check, change something, check. Like I said, if it looks good here, I'm just going to declare it done for better. I mean, yeah, it sucks that the camera sometimes passes out of there. That's what it is. Taking its sweet time. Anyway, Chief Link, how are you doing? Gonna be great. Yeah, each time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, all right, all right, all right. That's not good. Oh, well, there's, yeah, I see what's going on. Damn it. Gonna get rid of the collider, try it one more time, and then I'm gonna go, listen, it may not be perfect, but I'm gonna declare it good enough for beta for the time being. Because really, I just can't get too tied down. Because if the player can get from one end of the ventilation system to the other, I consider that good enough for now. Let's see. Just making sure that everything. Yeah, because I'm using FXAA, anti-aliasing there. Okay. Again, if we've lost that jiggling, I'm just going to consider it. Sucks again. The camera sometimes passes outside of frame. There, I'm going to be right back. I have to have something. Yep, still starting it up. Thing is when people were complaining about the navigation, I thought that the cats. I mean, we saw the cat literally passed out, through that earlier. That may just have to do with it. Just a very small gap in the joining. I may have to make a custom collider for it. I don't know. For now, hmm? Hello, I'm well. I'll stick to 50 cars. It become my niche. Well, hold on. Look, the camera's not passing out. Well, it did there. I mean, but far less than it used to. Yeah, it's like if you move the mouse really quick. Um, I don't know how to avoid that really. Time being, I'm just gonna say, you know what? Um, Traversal through the vents is possible here. Yeah, sometimes the camera passes out of there, but for a beta, a demo, this is okay. So what I can do now is go to window, to-do list, to-do list. Oh, dang it. Usually takes me straight to my to-do. All right, so let's see here. Physics. Oh, this one, that's been taken care of today. Let me see. Vents. Is it up in the... Huh. Oh, make sure the vents are navigable. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first 10. So we up here. Actually, we're always working on tomorrow right now. GMA. Okay. So we got 10 out of 24 remaining. That gets us to no, not all the way to 30%, 30%. Let's see here. Oh, toilet dedications. That hit me last night. Like I said at the very opening of this stream, I discovered that we have a couple of weeks ago that we had over 400 outstanding requests for in-game mention from patrons, and I had not addressed them. Far behind on that, but we're slowly taking care of those. And I'd forgotten that some people wanted to have their name on a toilet in a certain part of the game. See, is there something else that I could do really quick tonight that will get us to 33%? You know, this is something that's beyond me. I asked somebody to help me out with a new voiceover, some OV. Oh, actually, it's Origin Video voiceover. That's beyond my ability. I can't really say, oh, well, I got that done. Let's see, is there any secure? Pardon me. And Laura's doing the physics book. That's beyond my, ability. She's writing it, so that's something I have no control over. 2 down. Sorry, I know this is very dull. I mean, everything I do is dull. That's what game development is. It's hard. It's a very dull thing. But again, beats heavy lifting, let me tell you. Okay, so let's see. Actually, we have 21. We have 12 done. If everybody else fixes what they're doing, we have 12 out of 21. 12 versus 21, 34. 1, 2, 3, 7. It's actually 1, 2, 7, 10. Okay, cool. So we got 21 and 12. So really, we had 8 items that need to be taken. Let's do that. See where we. Okay. 100 equals, etc., etc. So times 12. Okay, we're 36% on our way toward the public beta. And actually, one thing that I can't start working in is this. I'm sorry. I'm looking for something in here that should be in here. Why is it not? Um, it's about something you're supposed to find. Material. Oh well, maybe it somehow got removed, but really, the material, the countdown material. So really, we're at 13 out of 34. GMA's computer. Yeah, it was on GMA's computer. Where'd that go? I guess it somehow got deleted. Just futzing around here. Anyway, yeah, 34. We got about 13 done. We're very close. Considering we still have until the end of the month, which is about 20. How many? I'm very sorry. I don't know that stupid rhyme about how many days a month has. Okay, we got 31 days. So really, we have literally 4 weeks to take care of. We just have to get to three left, so but 18 items. We got 18 items to take care of over the course of the next 28 days. I think we can handle that. And we don't need to get them all done. I've got a bunch of stuff here you can see here beyond the beta because we really have to get some. Oh, book Islands Apprentice Bay. That's something I started working on. Maybe I should add that to the. Should get actually no, because that doesn't need to get done for the beta. It's mostly for the satisfaction of patrons. And while we're trying to get the patrons' names in, my logic is, what did the patrons pay for? They paid to get the game done. Their name inclusions, we're getting to them, but they were not a number one priority. It sucks that it got to that way, but just it's the way things. Now this is another thing I could do pretty simply. It just requires, me purchasing a 3D. So really get further. There's, if I really dedicated myself, I know by Monday I could get to about 50% done. But it's a weekend, and I don't know. Sometimes I want to play a little bit of RimWorld, answer some emails. In fact, I need to answer about 10 patron name request emails right now, actually. Considering, really, we just discovered I mean, as far as the work that I could do, we're at 36%. That's pretty dang good. And we got the walls. Anyway, goodness. And getting that book done, like I showed you at the very beginning. Let's see here. Yeah, we're getting. Some people wanted to be realtors. Yeah, I'd like have a flyer up showing them. Let's see here. I close? No, I didn't close it. View and design. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we started writing the book at Atlas today because everybody some people wanted an island named after them. And I think there are about a half dozen islands that have not been named yet. You can see, and I laid out basically a generic page for one of them. I really don't like that font, to be honest. And what's the other thing? Yeah, this. This is another book from a book series you'll find within the game. As I don't know, this is something I do when I've gotten met a goal that we've set. Because writing this is actually kind of fun. People wonder. I mean, despite the fact that I've done repeated tests showing that the stuff in the game is not written by AI. Everybody's going to be saying, well, my goodness, how could some independent, game developer want to write 900 pages for a demo of a game? That's more than most games have. Well, because I don't consider writing to be hard. I actually consider it to be enjoyable, interesting. Um, that's why. That's why we don't use AI, because we like what we're doing. Anyway. Yeah. So really, I think we're sitting pretty. I'm gonna have to go and answer emails right now. Oh, and by the way, these are pages from the previous book in this series. All told, just this one series of books is going to have 5 volumes. Um, there is another five volume book series in the game. There's just lots of stuff. I've literally lost count. I think there are 900 pages. I'd be willing to bet that we're probably verging on to 1,000 now. It is what it is. But anyway, let's say anybody saying hello. Yeah. So anyway, here's an old tradition. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take care of something for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to put us into the pause scene. And if anybody has any questions, comments, criticisms about the game, this is our last chance to say something. After which I'm going, and if I come back and I don't see anything, I'm going to say guten Nacht, and hey, I'll see you in the morrow. But the thing is what game do we want? What music do I want to play? Not game. If I play a game these days, it's RimWorld. I'm a RimWorld addict. I've not gotten up to 24,000 hours. When I do that, I think I'm going to have to get some therapy because I'm going to have some serious problems. Just acknowledging how I spent those hours. I'm nowhere near that, by the way. I think I'm maybe up to 10% of that level. Yeah, what music? We'll play an old theme of the game. This is an old anthem of the game. It's a good old song by Robin Hitchcock.
Uncorrected personality traits that seem whimsical in a child may prove to be ugly in a fully grown adult. Lack of involvement with the father or over-involvement with the mother can result in lack of ability to relate to sexual peers. And in homosexual leanings, narcissism, transsexuality, girls from the waist up, men from the waist down, attempts to be your own love object. Reconcile your parents to you by becoming both at once. Even Marilyn Monroe was a man, but this tends to get overlooked by our mother-fixated, overweight, sexist media. So, uncorrected personality traits that seem whimsical in a child may prove to be ugly in a fully grown adult. If you give in to them every time they cry, they will become little tyrants, but they won't remember why. Then when they are thwarted by people in later life, they will become psychotic and they won't make an ideal husband or wife. The spoiled baby grows into the escapist teenager who's the adult alcoholic who's the middle-aged suicide. Oi, so uncorrected personality traits that seem whimsical in a child may prove to be ugly in a fully grown adult.
All right. Any questions, comments, criticism? No one. Okay, everybody. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between. Take care. Uh, you know, uh, sorry it's taken us so long to get this done, but here's the thing. What you're getting is the result of literally thousands of hours creativity on the parts of many, many people. And there's an old maxim in game development. If somebody tells you they're making a game for everyone, they're either lying or they're fooling themselves. We understand that not everybody is silent. Um, but, it is what it is. We did the best we could. Yeah. And, hope to see you all guys again soon. We're going to be doing more streams because I haven't done these in a long time. So as we get into the final, I mean, I'm wondering, do people want to see me like put together like real estate flyers and such? But that's what we're down to nowadays. Other things such as writing, I mean, straight up writing. I mean, I mean, Harlan Ellison used to be able to write in public, but I don't think I can. I'm not that confident. The other stuff that needs to be done is mostly just back end, technical stuff that involves coding crap. And oh my god, has anybody done streams about like them just doing coding on the back end for video? I'm pretty sure there are. Considering as boring as these streams are, I'm pretty sure somebody's been something 10 times as boring. But anyway, take care, everybody. We'll be doing one of these soon again. Bye bye. Night night.